Let's go.
Hello and welcome to the Villa Park podcast. It's me, Rich, and I am back with your favorite guest. Yes, Talking Tactics is back. We had a little bit of time off over the summer. We even kept it waiting after the first game of the season. What we thought we'd do is wait until the second game of the season with potentially the worst Aston Villa performance in a long, long time to bring it back. But anyway, we are here. Make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We are literally, I think it's about 40 away from 6,000 subscribers. So you know what to do, people. Like, subscribe, and get your comment in. You have been chomping at the bit for this show. Gareth told me backstage you've been asking for it. So we're here. Gareth, great to see you, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. It's good to be back. Yeah, we were going to do Brentford, obviously, but you was on holiday, so we would have done that. But yeah, it's not the ideal game to be back from, but still, we're back nonetheless.
Exactly. We've got all the usual stuff. We obviously give a taster of what visuals and information that Gareth prepares, but make sure you look out for his tweets and comments on X at One Villa Analysis as well for all of the details. But let's get right into it. The match stats, the tail of the tape. What are we talking about here, Gareth? Is it a case of the same old for Aston Villa away from home in a game where a team scores early and then we just can't break them down? Oh, have I lost you?
You know, let's say that, you know, Brentford is not an easy place to still go, but you know, to spend all that time, the field tilt was at 74%. It's such a huge amount of time to spend in the opposition's final third away from home. You're talking, you know, 3 times the amount of passes, the possession. We dominated the possession, 9 corners. You know, even the goalkeeping, we're playing short, we're playing out from the back, trying to build again. 11 passes per sequence. I mean, all Brentford stats are just so far down. Is even the 10 passes, the PPDA is low. You know, we're still pressing okay at 4.52. We just didn't do anything with it in that final third.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into that a little bit more in a second, because you could see the frustration. You could see the, I don't know what it was on the ball in terms of the final third, but maybe you can touch on it in a little bit. But let's take a look at the passing networks first. Does this give us any indication as to what we were trying to do or what we didn't do?
Yes, I mean, you're obviously trying to build a lot through Luca Digne, but I think what the plan was, it looked like to me, was to push Luca Digne high to allow then Matty Cash to try and advance more down the right-hand side with John McGinn coming inside. But it didn't quite work. We're trying to get Pau Torres on the ball. That's what he's in the team for. We know that. That's why he was bought. But passing it into central areas to Tielemans is all very well and good, but it's what you do then after that. And it didn't really do much at all, did it?
No, absolutely not. And I don't mind the box midfield because obviously it's brought us so much joy over the years. But the thing with what I find with Villa's box midfield is it's extremely rigid in terms of the positions that the players stop into. Now, if I was, I'm no way at all comparing myself to Unai Emery or the coaching staff in any way, shape or form. But to make yourselves more difficult to play against or defend against, surely it would be certain rotations within that midfield four. So, for example, you might have, where you've looked at this passing network here, right? Morgan Rogers is literally on Ollie Watkins' toes. Now, would it not make more sense to say, right, Youri Tielemans, number 8, you pull into a space around here, leaving then the space for Morgan Rogers to drop into, pick the ball up, and then he can pick it up on the half turn and then run at the defenders, which pulls them away a little bit, because we just seem to be so easy to mark and so easy to block the passes into the channels. And I can't understand why there was no rotation of position.
Yeah, I quite agree. And what I noticed a lot was that Morgan Rogers was very focused in that sort of position in and around that, instead of going into wide areas and, like you say, dragging players out, allowing Tielemans to go forward. You don't need Tielemans and Onana to both be in sort of those defensive positions. Just leave Onana there and just use Tielemans and put Tielemans and Rogers either side of Ollie Watkins in that phase of play. I agree. The rigidity is a problem.
Yeah. Quick look at the passing sonars, because I think this is one you teased out on X, and a lot of people commented about the lack of frequency of real forward passes.
I wanted to see, I posted this because I wanted to see what I see, if people could see what I see, and they did. It's a lot of sort of lateral passing, if you like. Someone also commented, Luca Digne, who is he passing to? Unai Emery. What is he doing?
Yeah.
So you can see the structure of what they're trying to do. They're trying to push Luca Digne high, but you've got to get him into those positions. The amount of times Ollie Watkins wasn't in the box as well was incredible. What's the point in pushing your best crossing fullback up left if you've not got anybody in the box? You can't provide cutbacks all the time, which is what 3 or 4 players were looking for all the time, by the way. It's got to be a little bit better.
And look at John McGinn's passing network there. I mean, he's just passing out to the touchline again, possibly to Matty Cash, but no driving inside, no real crossing inside at all. Maybe a couple, but that just shows how much he's wasted on that right hand side.
Yeah, I think it was more the second half that he started to do that as well. So under instruction to do that more probably. But yeah, I agree. You've got to put John McGinn in central areas. There's no point in having players like that out wide. He's not a winger. He can cross a ball, but he's not a winger. If you're going to play Digne on that left-hand side as your main crosser, then utilise that and get those players in off that right-hand side into the edge of the box if that's what you're going to do.
Yeah. Now, noticed Brentford quite longer passing from the goalkeeper. Is that indicated here in the sort of the sonars and the network?
Yeah, they tried to hit that left-hand side quite a bit from the goalkeeper, and Kelleher sort of tended to go straight forward down the centre of the pitch. And it's just basically to get Villa turned. That's all it is. That's all you're trying to
do. Yeah. Let's take a look at the expected threat, because I think this is the one that you wanted to highlight as well. What's that one telling us about in terms of what threat Villa offered with carrying the ball or passing with the ball?
Yeah, I mean, the carries, especially from Tyrone Mings, tells you that Brentford didn't provide a high press. They were quite happy for our centre-backs to have the ball and carry it into midfield. But when you've got players like Matty Cash, who, let's be honest, he's not renowned for it, but did have a sort of half-decent game, let's say, and Luca Digne providing those expected threat, you need the likes of those players that are at the bottom of that list to be provided higher amounts of expected threat, like your Tielemans, your Buendia, your John McGinn, and Morgan Rogers especially. That's what you need.
Yeah, I mean, Rogers, McGinn, Buendia, Tielemans, if all 4 of those players aren't at the races, you're going to struggle, aren't you? And at some point, you've got to think, right, who's going to take the responsibility? Who's going to try and beat a man? Who's going to try and drop into a position that is a little bit out of the ordinary? And no one seemed to do it.
No, nobody. And that is the ball, that is on Morgan Rogers, in my opinion. He is the one that drives this Villa team forward from deep areas on those turns, those lovely little half turns and drives forward. He needs to be the one that's doing that.
Yeah, definitely. Let's take a look at the match, the XG shot map, and then we'll take a look at the timeline in a second. Lots of shots for Villa, but I can't recall them having like too many clear-cut chances at all, if I'm being honest.
No, and we'll see that in the goalkeeper performance from Kelleher. There was just the 2 shots on target, but I think he only had 1 save to make. So, I mean, it's all very well having these 17 shots, but they've got to be sort of in better areas. I mean, some of them are not too bad there, but I don't recall sort of that major threat, those major chances coming. So, no big chances as well again.
Yeah, and then the momentum, we've kind of seen it there. And we did see Villa with long spells of possession, but it just didn't turn Brentford enough, didn't create any one-on-one opportunities, didn't really had a couple of crosses that flashed across the box. But I thought that we would pull Brentford around and they would tire out and then the spaces would really open up, but it didn't seem to happen like that.
No, and you can say that sort of from 35 to 65 minutes, so let's call it 30 minutes of that game, Brentford didn't do anything. It was all us that were providing that expected threat. But what we should say here is these are low numbers of expected threat on average. It's still, yes, you're controlling the game pretty much. You're dominant in possession, but there's still low numbers.
Yeah. And another one that you wanted to highlight, those final third entries, and you look at that, 19 for Brentford, 65 for Aston Villa, but unfortunately little to show for that. And maybe that is a case of, you mentioned Ollie Watkins not getting in the box. Maybe we didn't just get enough players in and around the box to hit.
No, exactly that. And when you're looking at the areas that they're in there, sort of, in the 20s in wider areas, yeah, that's okay. But look how many of those balls actually go into the box from there.
Yeah. It's just a poor effort all round. And I think I've mentioned on a few of my match reactions, you're calling out for someone to take responsibility, and obviously full admiration for Unai Emery and what he's done, but it strikes me as something to do with, I don't know whether it's like me being a boring old fart or whatever, but the modern player now is so intent on doing exactly what the coach has told them to do. And sometimes you just need, ironically, like John Duran used to do last season, just take the game into your own hands and just do something that's out of the ordinary. And at the moment, we just seem to have too many players that are just sticking to this system, sticking to this way of playing. And at this moment in time, if we don't start well or don't score the first goal, we're just too easy to play against.
And I think the decisions to let Leon Bailey and Jacob Ramsey go are poor ones, to be honest. Given what we now see, I think they are very poor decisions. I agree. I know the PSR thing and everything else, but I think they're poor decisions to let one or either go.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see if we manage to bring anyone in this last week of the window, but I can't help but feel like it smacks of a little bit of desperation as well.
I think it is, and I think it's, like I say, it's the PSR stuff as well, but you're going to need another ball carrier in that team. It's as simple as that. Now you've let those two ball carriers go, you've left with Morgan Rogers probably. You're going to need another ball carrier to come in, at least.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Quick look at the goalkeeping performance. Not that we made Kelleher work too hard, but anything that to write home about on this front with Emmy and with Kelleher?
Yeah, I wanted to put this in here. I got it wrong. I thought he made one save, but he's obviously made two there. But he's prevented both of those two shots, and they were poor. They're central. And Emmy Martinez, literally, just, he can't do it. Could he have done better with a goal? I'm not so sure. But even so, it's poor from us. It's really poor, sort of from an attacking perspective, to have 17 shots, however many it was, and to have just two there like that, making a goalkeeper make two saves. Come on.
Yeah. Just before we finish up, just from your perspective, you mentioned about a ball carrier, but how is there anything to sort of concern you about Villa at the moment? Are people getting a bit carried away after, just 2 games of the season? Where do you stand on it? Again, from an analyst perspective, obviously you did the Newcastle game as well. Where are you seeing like the issues that Villa are having, and how easy is it to solve? I
think just having Ollie Watkins now is probably a problem. Not having Marco Asensio in the team is a problem. So you're going to struggle. They're struggling to create, but even if they do, can they be finishing properly? I don't know yet. Newcastle wasn't so bad. A draw against a decent side, all right. First game of the season, you could say that was a half decent result. Brentford is still an away game. Any away game in the Premier League is tough, by the way. That shouldn't be underestimated. I don't think there's major problems. I just think it needs to be able to be settled in properly and add to that team. The trouble is, it's the same team as last year, isn't it? Bar Asensio, let's say. That could be a problem, because are people getting complacent already? Possibly not. It's early days, but they need a result.
And what about the thought process between Daniel Marlin and Evan Gesson, who obviously we managed to sign in the summer? A lot of fans are clamoring for Daniel Marlin. What do you think? Does Unai Emery fancy him, or do you think he just doesn't rate him with what he does? Because all the fans are saying, why aren't you starting Marlon? Why aren't you starting Marlon? I can understand Gesson to a certain extent because he's just come in, but certainly Daniel Marlin, I mean, is it a puzzling situation to you?
Yeah, it is a little bit, because he is a ball carrier, isn't he? So we could probably say the problems that we've just identified. Could you put him in a team as that ball carrier? Yeah. The trouble is, he's got his favourites, hasn't he? So who does he then take out? You know, does Marlon start for me? Probably not. I don't know. I just don't know yet. I was quite impressed with Gesson. I thought he sort of bought something a little bit different. But there will come a time where he is going to have to do something different, Unai Emery. So those two players are going to be at the forefront of that, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. Well, Gareth, thank you for joining us, and thank you for all the work you've done with producing these visuals. We will be back every week now, but where can people find you to see more information like this, and obviously ask you any questions about Aston Villa and what they should or shouldn't be doing?
Yeah, catch me on at One Villa Analysis or at that Garate JC, but I'll put all the extra ones as well on there after this.
Fantastic. We'll be back after the Crystal Palace game. Then it's international break, and then back again after that for the following matches. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and help us continue on the road to 6,000 subscribers. Thank you, Gareth. Thank you all for watching. And as always, remember, we all follow the Villa.